Last month, aged care worker and union delegate Michelle was on her way from Bulli to Canberra to lobby for better pay and conditions.
They need to realise that there is a problem with our wages.
Her concerns go to the heart of the problem with aged care that has been deepening for years in Australia, first provoking a Royal Commission and more recently brought into even sharper focus by COVID, a crisis in the workforce.
About 70% of the money that's spent in aged care is spent on the workforce, and that tells you the significant contribution that a high-quality workforce has to high-quality aged care.
Exactly.
You know, the worst times, it's hard. The residents can see that we're run down.
At the end of next month, the Fair Work Commission will hear the first ever work value case for aged care workers under the modern award system. You may have heard politicians and others speaking about how carers in the sector are paid less for looking after our aged family and friends than staff at Bunnings or Woolworths. The headline you may have heard about in this wage case is that there is a push for a 25% pay rise. But the case is about a lot more than that. There is also no wage structure that recognises skills or training and therefore gives people senior roles to aspire to, a clear path to get there, or rewards for becoming a specialist in a particular kind of care. A crucial recommendation of the Royal Commission was that the Australian Government and the aged care sector should reach a consensus to support applications to the Fair Work Commission to improve wages. A consensus position was reached by almost everyone in December.
So we had a historic discussion where we had aged care employer groups, aged care union groups, and also consumer representative groups come together.
I would say that the process was robust, and I think that will certainly give some comfort to the Fair Work Commission about the support for this proposal.
But there was one party that was noticeably absent from the consensus position, the federal government.
It's my view that the government should support its work and the case that's been agreed and put forward by the unions and the employers.
Well, the federal government was invited into that conversation with the unions and also with the consumer groups, and they chose not to participate. That's on them. But at the end of the day, they are a clear party here. I mean, they fund 80% of the sector.
And there's the rub.
Labor's position is that we understand nothing is going to change about aged care until we address this pivotal issue of the pay of aged care workers. So we are going to abide by the Royal Commission's recommendation to go hand in hand with workers, with providers to Fair Work.
In response to questions from 7:30, Aged Care Minister Richard Colbeck said Labor had not been specific about the size of a pay increase, which is, of course, to be determined independently by the Fair Work Commission, but did not respond directly to the question of why the government is not making its own arguments in the case.
There is an overwhelming sense of frustration and fatigue in the workforce. We are seeing an exodus of senior staff. These are people that have been in the sector for many, many years, filling senior leadership roles and are finding it just all too hard now. And in a time when we need leadership in a pandemic, that's a concern.
In my view, the government needs to address the very discouraged, downtrodden and largely female workforce and support it.
Who else will do it? If I step away, who's going to step up and do their needs? So right now, quitting's not an option. Trying to get the aged care crisis under control and fixed is everyone's priority right now.